It's Saturday morning. It's 9 o'clock. That can only mean one thing. Yes, it's time for the Monster Magic Saturday Show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Good morning. I hope you're all set for a lovely, lovely weekend. Fingers crossed you've woken up, you've had time to make your cup of tea, and you're now settling down for a nice, relaxing day. It is the Magic Circle convention tomorrow on Sunday, and it is going to be the first convention that I have been at with a dealer stand. Yes, Monster Magic's first ever dealer stand. So I'm very, very excited. If you are going to be around, please do pop in. It's in the Wesley Hotel near Houston. You don't have to be a member of the Magic Circle. You can just pop in, pay on the door, and it'll be lovely, lovely to meet you all. Just say hello. You don't have to buy anything. It'd be nice if you did, but you don't have to. I'm very, very excited. I've got no real idea of how it's going to go. I'm just going to play it by ear, have a lot of fun, and hopefully meet some of the other dealers as well, and have a good chat and a catch up with some friends and acquaintances. I will have the odd Monster Magic product on the stand, but I will also have some of the latest releases. So without further ado, let's review some of them. First up, we've got 14 by Pepo Capel. This is another release by the Crazy Jokers, a team that I'm beginning to really, really like. They're from Spain, and Pepo Capel is a brilliant card magician, a Spanish champion, I believe. And this trick, 14, is based on an old Fred Cap's trick from before I was born. Actually, I think it's from the 1970s, early 1970s, and I'm not that old. It's very similar to 6-card repeat, but it's got a better story, if you know what I mean. So with Fred Cap's routine, what happened was he'd show some cards that added up to 10, he'd remove one, and the cards would still add up to 10. He'd remove another one, the card would still add up to 10, until he only had one card left, and of course it would be a 10. A terrific routine, does let you stand up, does let you engage with the audience, but obviously there's nothing that special about having a 10 left behind. So what Pepo has done has changed it so the last card is a 14. So all the cards add up to 14. Yes, you remove one, they still add up to 14. You remove another, still up to 14. And obviously there's a bigger payoff, there's a bigger climax to having this strange 14 of clubs or 14 of spades, whatever it might be, left in your hand. And as I hinted there, they're not all of the same suit, so they had various different gimmicks made up by the sounds of it. So you may not get the 14 of clubs or whatever is shown in the trailer. It might be the 14 of hearts and so on. You also get all of the other cards that go with it. And they're not really gimmicked. There's not really much going on with gimmicks. Nothing that you can't make up yourself should anything here wear out, apart from the number 14 card, obviously. They are bicycle cards. Let me open up, I'll show you them. I might as well show you them. And here you go, you see, so got spades. And that is really all you need for the trick. And the trick I do really, really like. 6-card repeat. Although I do love the humour of the story, I've heard the story of going to a shop and the shop assistant not being able to do it, so he's throwing cards away consistently. That story I still find engaging, no matter how many times I've heard it. I do sort of feel that the method is obvious to everybody else. I think you're sort of running right from the start. It doesn't matter too much with the 6-card repeat, because it is just a funny routine. With this, I think it's more baffling, because you haven't, you are showing the right number of cards each time. You are removing one, and they seem to be changing values and adding up to different numbers, which is just slightly more magical to me. And yeah, it's very easy to do. Like I say, there is a little bit of gimmicking going on here, which helps very much with the routine. There are a couple of sleights in it, but easy sleights. So basically, if you can handle a double, if you can buckle, there is also a nice spread by Incendio or something. Nice little spread display, which is beautiful, which I hadn't come across before. Not hard to do by any stretch of the imagination, and really does do a nice clean display of 4 kelds adding up to 14. The tutorial is very clear with the performance and the humour. The Pepo is obviously Spanish, so it's subtitled, but you really do get a sense of the fun of the joke and the timing of it all and everything else. I think it's a terrific bit of fun. It's very easy to do. It gets you to stand up, like I say, like with the Fred Cap routine. You can do it close up, you can, but I think it's probably better for parlour. And you really do get to just introduce yourself and your personality onto the audience with it. It's really, really good. It's a great little piece of stand-up card magic for sure, well within the grasp of any hobbyist alike. And of course, the best bit is it's only $22.99. And next up, we have Maverick by the 1914 Dee Christopher, and this is your EDC, your everyday carry pouch for mentalists. I don't feel it is just for mentalists, to be fair. I know Dee Christopher designed it in that way, but I think it will serve any magician who wants an everyday carry pouch. Very much like Batman would have his utility belt. This basically holds everything you need to do some good magic at the drop of a hat. It's not a trick or an effect in itself, although built in are some wonderful, wonderful little utility devices, if you like. Dee Christopher talks a lot about how he designed this, why it's the size it is, why the zip goes further round, and that is obviously so it opens up much better. I'll take the foam out so you can see. So it opens up much better, much clearer. It's not leather. It is made from some sort of sailcloth, which Dee Christopher says is just super, super tough. I think I might have preferred it in leather. I'm not sure. I kind of like the way leather patinas over the years and sort of grows with you and becomes like an old friend. This I feel is going to be looking like new for a very long time, and I guess because it's a sailcloth, you can probably just wipe off any dirt or grime and everything else. So durability, full marks, and obviously this isn't something that the spectator's going to be handling or anything like that. So really. It doesn't matter too much about how it feels. It looks like it's very well stitched. So although this material is super tough, super strong, obviously the weakest point would be the stitching, and it looks like the stitching here has been done very well, very neatly. It is very well made. The zip is very sturdy, good YKK zip, but also you can tell by the size of the teeth it's not a flimsy one. It is metal. So this is really, really built to last. I think this has been a sort of a design of passion for Dee. And it's the sort of thing that actually lots of other hobbies have. I was thinking about this. I used to be a cyclist, and I'd go out for a 200-mile bike ride, and I had a pouch slightly bigger than this for obvious reasons. And that was my pouch, and I just knew everything I needed in case of an emergency was in it, so that I could always get back home. And this is probably what, we don't have really as magicians, is this nice little easy carry pouch that you can just stick all of your card stuff in it. And the reason, and then you can just leave home, grab it, and if anyone asks you to do a card trick, you've got something on you. And a wide range of stuff fits in here. It is this size because it fits a deck of cards. So they can be, obviously, if you're a mentalist, they might be ESP cards, they might be billets. But in my case, it would be an ordinary deck of playing cards. And then in here, you have various compartments, and these are elasticated, which means if you put coins, or as Dee does, he puts in a pendulum, things like that, poker chips, whatever you might be doing, they'll fit in there. And because it's elasticated, they'll be held in place and they won't tip out. And that really is the essence of it. It's got a place for your pen here. So that'll fit a sort of mini Sharpie, or a small biro, anything like that will fit in there. Dee uses the what pen does he use? One of those anti-gravity space pens, which are particularly good for writing on billets, apparently. And there are various pockets all dotted around, which you can fill as you wish. Dee being a mentalist, these little pockets aren't as innocent as they look. So you can actually load things into this wallet. You can switch things with this wallet. And there is also a little bit of a hidden index inside here. Now, this isn't designed to replace anything else that you've got that also does those things. So as Dee says, you know, this isn't, the index is only for a few things. You'll be hard pushed to sort of replicate the shadow wallet with this. But if you wanted a 4-way out option with billets or folded cards, it'll be fine for that. The switching I really, really like. It's quite bold, but it's very, very simple. And Dee actually teaches at the end of this, of the tutorials, he talks through what he uses all of the pockets for and what he carries in his. He goes through 3 routines, and my favorite is the bill serial number divination with which, you know, switches it in plain sight using this window here. I think that's a terrific little routine. Dee doesn't perform it to its full, to be fair, because he's just talking to the camera, and I've tried demoing tricks when you're just talking to the camera. It's very hard to put in a full enthusiastic performance, but it's a great routine, and as are the other 2 that are included. Yeah, it's really nice. It, like I say, it's well made. The only real thing is, because it is so well made and because it is so well thought out, it is quite expensive. It is, you know, I believe, I think I'd be really, really surprised at just how much you can squeeze in to this pouch and just how useful it will become once you've got it, because it is going to become your everyday carry, that thing that you pick up when you're leaving the house, just in case anyone finds out that you're a magician and you're put on the spot. You also get this little cloth bag, which I don't know, you might find useful. Perhaps if you want to put a prediction in it, or a little lime for your bill to lime. There you go. Not a bad little added extra, that. It's a great idea. It's really, really well executed, and consequently it is the best part of £60. But there you go. That is Maverick by Dee Christopher in the 1914. And now, probably the trick that everybody has been talking about more than any other at the moment, despite the fact it was released in Blackpool back in February, where, to be fair, it did sell out. And actually, there was a lot of excitement around this stand. Thomas Bader, I'm not sure how you say it. He just had this one trick there at the convention, and it was the one trick at the convention that people would come to the prop dog stand where I was working and they'd say, have you seen Drop by Thomas Bader? He's upstairs performing it. You really should go and check it out. And to go and watch Thomas perform, it really felt like a very special occasion. It felt like you were witnessing something remarkable whenever he performed it. And now it is, as it was in February, available to you. It is called The Drop. It is by Thomas Bader. It comes in 2 different colours, obviously, a bicycle, red or blue. This is the blue version. And it is 2 very simple gimmicks for sure. But what you can do with those gimmicks and what Thomas teaches you to do on his incredibly short tutorial is a piece of mind-blowing card magic. And that really is what's clever about this. So there's been a lot of discussion about the gimmicks, and maybe it could have been a download, maybe it could have been in a book, and all of that is true. But these gimmicks are very well made, and there is something quite subtle about them, that they're not as obvious as it might first seem. So you might think you're just getting something very, very simple. I mean, it is very, very simple, but it's slightly more than what you first see at a glance. But the effect, come on, let's talk about the effect. That's what we really want to know, isn't it? It's basically a very, very elaborate sandwich routine. A matching pair of cards is freely chosen by a participant, who then chooses a third card, which he signs. That card is lost in the deck, and then the deck is dribbled, and the pair of cards are one by one tossed into the deck as you dribble down. When the deck is spread, it is discovered that they have found your chosen card. It is a brilliant piece of magic. It looks so free, it looks so careless, that it makes it so powerful, and it looks like real skill. And then there's the second phase, where again you use the two matching cards, in this case to find the ace of spades. Unfortunately, when the cards are spread, it's discovered that they haven't found one card, they've found 5. But one of those cards is the ace of spades. But not only that, the other cards make up a royal flush. Yes, the best hand in poker. It's terrific. And in Thomas's hands, it really does look like pure skill, done carelessly without any thought. And that is really what you need to aim for with this. It's not hard to do. The gimmicks help greatly, but you will need to practice. It's not a hard thing to practice, though. You just got to practice dribbling cards and getting a little bit of timing. But there's a reason it sold out at Blackpool, and that's because it's a very straightforward card trick. But it just amazes me. It looks impossible, as all magic should. And it also looks like you've used a great deal of skill. This looks like you are blessed, and that you have been training for years, and you've been, in some monastery in the foothills of the Mongolian mountains, studying for decades. You just need to be prepared to put in the practice, and to make it look as careless as Thomas does will take time, but you can do it, and then you'll have a terrific trick. It's $29.99. You might argue that what you get in here isn't $29.99's worth of gimmicks. That's up to you. I think they are. The tutorial is a smashingly short, 9 minutes long, maybe almost 10 minutes. It might be slightly over 9, but it's less than 10. And Thomas has this wonderful way of talking, as if he's got complete and utter contempt for being there showing you how to do this trick. I know that's not the case, and he certainly warms up towards the end when he mentions the Facebook group and stuff. It's possibly just his accent and his demeanour, and that kind of made me chuckle a little bit. There is also a little bit where he throws some cards away, which really did make me laugh. And really, in those 9 minutes, he doesn't discuss the construction of the gimmicks at all, of what they are, or even how they work. He just tells you what to do with them, which is fair enough in many ways, because you can figure out the rest for yourself. But it would have been nice, perhaps, have made the tutorial 15 minutes long. But like I say, the actual method is very simple. It's just practice, and you do get various angles, and he does show you very clearly, the techniques involved. I think it's a great trick. What is nice is that these gimmicks, you can have them just in your wallet, and you can add them to any deck that you like, as long as it's the right color. Obviously, you can add them to a deck that you've had in play for a while, and then you can perform this miracle. It's probably going to be a closer, I think, just to wrap up a nice little card set. Yeah, it's The Drop by Thomas Bada Bada Bada, and it is $29.99. Anyone who has been on the Monster Magic website, monstermagic.co.uk, why aren't you on it now? Why are you watching this? Will have noticed I've got a lot of TCC stuff in, and this is one of my picks from it. It is the Mobius Rising card. I've been very, very impressed with this. It is essentially the Divano gimmick, which, if you're familiar with, came out a very long time ago, but it was quite thick, quite bulky. This is super well made, slimline version of that gimmick, to the point that you can have it probably in the deck whilst you're doing other card effects, waiting to do this rising card. And this rising card is just beautiful. You can do it to do one card, you can do it to do many cards, so 3 or 4 possibly. I wouldn't do all 52, because that would slightly diminish the magic. I think this gimmick is pretty close to being bulletproof, and you don't have anything to snap. You've got no hookups or anything like that to worry about. You've got no lighting issues. You've got no angle issues. You simply have a card freely selected and then returned to the deck, and you can then pretty confidently shuffle that deck very, very fairly, and then you can just do the card rise and multiple cards, as I say. And as card tricks go, the rising card, that sort of animation of a card coming out of the deck, is one that has been around for decades because it freaks people out. You can do all your wiggling hands over it. You can make them make any noises they want. You can present it in any way you like. And this is almost self-working as well. So very little skill involved, and anything that you need to know is taught. I really, really like it. I think for $38.99, you get a very, very strong piece of magic. One of the strongest card tricks you can probably do. The cards could be signed. It is genuinely the card that they have picked, freely selected, and they rise out of the deck. What more could you want? And now it's the Paper Cart by TCC and Elvis Zheng. This is a take on the Phantom Artist by Percy Naudret that came to light from Oz Perlman's 21st Century Phantom. It was in Theodore Vanneman's book, Practical Mental Magic. In fact, it still is in that book, obviously. Page 101, I believe. This takes it to a slightly different level. The effect is fairly simple. Someone chooses an object, an animal, a location, something like that, and you define it. And not only do you define what they're thinking of, you cut it out of a piece of paper. So it's a paper silhouette, like those paper artists, paper cutting silhouette artists do. Now, Oz Perlman's release is no longer available. And I often do get requests for people asking, how do you do 21st Century Phantom? It is very easy to do. And I think the secret is probably quite widely known. And if you remember from Magic Club, someone I'm sure will share it with you. The paper cut uses a slightly different method. And that means there's no real switching involved. The notepad really, really helps with this. And the notepad's a really nice touch. The reason I like the notepad is for the bonus routine. In the bonus routine, you have someone select, say, an animal, and then you draw that animal really, really badly on the notepad to show what it is. You then rip that drawing out, and then you cut that into the silhouette. I think that really adds a nice bit of humor at the start of the routine, justifies the notepad very nicely as well. There is also a really nice force tool on here with a slip of paper with all of the list of animals or celebrities on that you might want to be forcing, and they cut that piece of paper, and where they cut, that is the celebrity that they have chosen, and that justifies the scissors being in play right from the start as well. It's a very clean force. It's a very easy to do and takes up very little pocket space. And also, if you've got the scissors on you as well, it's nice to have everything out in the place so you don't going back into your pockets or anything like that after the object or animal, whatever, has been selected. It's good. It is really good. The pad does a lot of the work for you, which is great, and sets you up ready to do the cutting. It's a very, very nice idea. I think it's worth it for the bonus routine. If you already do it, Phantom Artist, in some way, stretch or form, then you're not going to be rushing out to buy this one. You are limited to the sort of the Panda, the Bruce Lee, the Statue of Liberty reveals, because that is what is built into the pad. But I think that's absolutely fine. You can make a bad drawing of all of those. And it's a nice range of different things. You get 40 performances out of one pad, and it's only $15.99. So if you think about all the effort you put in to making and cutting out your own phantoms and things like that. It's good, very good value for money. So although it's not refills, because you need the whole pad to work for you, because you are ripping pages out of the pad every time, it is very, very good value for 40 performances. So it's no harm just rebuying it completely. The tutorial is very, very clear. He runs through everything. It is chaptered, so if you just want to move, skip past the history or hit the tips or go straight to the bonus routine, you can. I think it's a great little addition. The 21st Century Phantom is a brilliant routine, and this is a nice addition to it. 21st Century Phantom is not difficult by any stretch of the imagination. So this isn't difficult either. It's very hard to say that one is easier than the other, but it's nice that it's all self-contained in the pad. And like I say, the force as well that they teach is ideal, brings the scissors into play. I'll do it for the bonus routine. There you go. It's the paper cut for $15.99. Is it $15.99? Paper cut, $15.99. And finally, you may have noticed I've got some books in, some real blinders. They're all in the new stuff. They are going like hotcakes, but one of them is Destination Zero by John Bannon, which came out, oh God, almost 10 years ago, I imagine, probably originally. It's been in and out of print ever since. John's first two books, Smoke and Mirrors and Impossibilia, are among my favourites. But of late, he has become known for this sort of easy to do, powerful magic. And this was one of those books that I first got, and it really got me into what I've sort of found to be more my style, which is almost self-working, but I like it. And self-working possibly isn't the right name for some of the tricks in here. I mean, they are very easy to do. They might have the odd move rather than sleight, the odd subtlety, but really what I like is the hands-offness of magic. And that's what I was coming to earlier about the drop and so on, showing displays of skill. I quite like showing that I haven't really touched the cards, or it's all slightly out of my control. I haven't manipulated anything at all, and I'm not displaying a great amount of skill, which is one of the reasons why I've never learned any of those flourishes and all of those card flicking moves, that's my excuse for not knowing how to do a Sybil cut. And in here, John justifies why he thinks that self-working or semi-self-working, semi-automatic, whatever you want to call it, magic is good. Each trick in here is neatly broken down into, let me find the page probably. He says it in a mixture of French, Spanish and Latin, which I won't bother with. You'll have to buy the book to find out. But you get a concise summary of what the trick is about. You get what enchants us, a discussion of why the trick's enjoyable. You then get what is essentially required for the trick, and the post-mortem, and then the bandillage, which is the playful banter. It's all covered in here. The tricks are a great variety. I did what has now become a very bad habit of flipping through and finding the tricks, the first couple of tricks that really appeal to me, whether that's by the name in the index or by a big picture. And I really did like Box of Doom. Obviously, that title really appeals as well, but I think it's an absolutely terrific trick. And also Bannellation, which is a take on Cameron Francis's Annihilation deck. It's £40. There's 25 effects in there, and as you go through, you will learn some lovely, lovely moves and some subtleties on those moves and how to handle those moves properly. And it'll really strengthen your card magic. It's very easy to read. It's got some nice clear photos. I would highly recommend it for anyone in the magic world, but particularly if you're quite new to card magic, if you just want to expand what you can do with an ordinary deck of cards at a moment's notice. If you've got your deck of cards in your Maverick and you want to be able to do an easy, strong magic trick to your mates, you just pick 3 from here and you'll be able to entertain them for 10, 12 minutes. It's a great book. John Bannon, Destination Zero. And that's it for another week. I know. I've got to run off and get ready for tomorrow. Make sure I've got everything packed up. And if you do get a chance to come and see me on Sunday, please do. If not, do enjoy the rest of the weekend and the rest of the week practicing what is, without doubt, the best hobby in the world. Thank you.